Hi everyone, my name is Allison from X's and Aprons, and today I wanted to talk to you about the number one item I get asked about and is probably the most essential item that we have here in our homestead, and that is our wood stove. And this isn't just a wood stove, it's a wood cook stove, so people watch me cook on it and they watch me bake in it and they're very curious and have a lot of questions. So I thought it would be a great idea to make a video about it, especially since we did just have that Arctic blast and we got hit really hard. We're in New York State, so man, we got hit. We didn't have power for 13 hours and we did great here. This wood stove kept us warm. We cooked on it, we did our Christmas baking on it, and it was kind of business as usual, which was pretty much our entire goal moving to this cabin. Is we wanted anything to happen in business would be, business as usual for us. But we have a Nectre 350. The Nectre 350 is formerly known as the Vermont Bun Baker, and that actually might still be the name in like Australia or something, but a United States company, Dimplex, took it over and they renamed it the Nectre 350. There is a larger model, the Nectre 550, but talking to a lot of fireplace companies and wood stove companies, they were like, you're probably going to cook yourself out of your house if you get the larger model. That model heats up to 2,500 square feet. We live in a cabin that maybe maxes out at like 800 square feet. It's probably more around 7. So this heats up to 1,000 square feet. Something I do want to reiterate on this, because I didn't really think about it that much, because I don't really do the firewood here. My husband does the firewood. But the firebox itself is small. It only holds 12 to 13 inch logs, and I didn't really think it was a big issue. And then my husband was like, oh man, all the wood I've already cut is 16 inch logs, so that's a problem. So we had to kind of go and readjust things, but the firebox, it's small, but it doesn't really change a whole lot. So the wood burning time on this, the specs say like 8 hours. It's really 4 hours. That's like what you're gonna get, and that's a total honest assessment, is that you're only gonna have wood burning in there max 4 hours. Though I will say that this whole unit gets so hot that it radiates heat for probably another hour after the coals have burned out. It is hot to touch, like it just works so well. So we can really make it through the entire night if we wanted to. It's a little chilly in the morning, but it's not anything ridiculous. Just for comfort, we try to wake up once a night, but it's like that only happens maybe 2 or maybe 3 times a week. Most of the time we just, set it before bed and let it burn out to the morning and restart the fire. But a lot of people have noticed that I do everything for cooking, everything for baking in here, and I love it. It is so nice to cook over fire. So imagine, a campfire. If you're grilling on a campfire or something, going camping, you follow your heat. So that's the exact same way on the wood stove on the top. So if, the flame is high over here and I really need something to boil water or something like that, I'm cooking pasta, I'm going to move my dish over here. But if, I just need something on a simmer or just to kind of keep warm, I might move it somewhere else where the fire is not so high. And then we can bake. I literally bake anything in the oven. The bottom part is the oven, and I will bake, sourdough bread, I'll bake cookies, we made cinnamon rolls for Christmas. We can do anything in here. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the oven a little bit. So the oven has 2 racks, so you can pull them out as you want, or you can just, have one rack going at a time. And there is a thermometer on there. I think it's way off. I think it can be about 80 degrees off either direction. We kind of just go by the color. So there's a green, yellow, and a red. And if it gets to the red, we know that it's probably time that we could start baking bread. If it's, at the high end of the yellow, then we can probably start baking cookies. It just takes a lot of trial and error to figure it out. But anyway, for baking, if we're going to bake, we can just open this right up, and, you can move the racks as you need. If something is too tall, then you can take a rack out and you can double it up in the bottom for extra strength. And yeah, we do a lot of baking in here. My kids bake, my daughters do a lot of cookies and muffins. They do really well with it too. So my 10-year-old can completely do everything with this. She can cook, she can load the wood, she can bake. So we've really gone out of our way to try to teach her that, so that if for whatever reason we weren't here for her, she could manage the unit. On the front, you have your little draft, and you can always touch these. They're never hot, so that's a really cool thing that you can 100% of the time touch the handles and you're never going to get burned. One thing I would mention, if you have kids like I do, I frequently check underneath of the wood stove because there is a little pocket here and things, miscellaneous toys or whatever, can get in there and start to stink because it's melting. So I would always frequently check that if you have little kids. So the top of the wood stove has 2 hot plates, but really we use the entire area to cook. You know, you can cook on the very back or just hold stuff on a simmer in the very back. But right on the hot plates, it's usually the hottest. Again, you kind of have to follow where your fire is. Another question people always ask is, where did we get it? I actually found this model on eBay because I had been watching and looking for wood cook stoves, but they're so expensive. Like, the prices have really jacked up, probably from COVID and everybody getting worried and everything. But this unit itself, brand new, is $5,000. If you were to get the 550, the size up, it's $7,000. And we really weren't wanting to spend that much on a wood stove because honestly, you could go on Craigslist and you could find a brand new wood stove that somebody bought and decided they weren't going to use that isn't a cook stove, but it is a wood stove and it would heat our home for, you can find those for like $500 on Craigslist. And we found several, and we were, considering what to bid on and, what to contact people about. I actually found this model on eBay from HVAC. So it was listed as discounted because it was an open unit. And I contacted them. I asked them, is there anything wrong with the unit? Is it just opened? What's going on with it? Why is it so discounted? And they said, yeah, it was an opened, returned box. So we bought the unit, we received the unit, we open it up, and we find out that the back was dented. So it looked like somebody had tipped it on its back and dropped it, and it kind of like squished. So I contacted HVAC and was like, that's kind of unacceptable because I paid for a unit that I thought was in perfect condition. And they were like, you're right, that is unacceptable. You guys can have the model for free. So they gave us our money back. They actually said we shouldn't use it because they don't know if it's safe or not and that we should dispose of it ourselves. They couldn't decide if it was safe or not, basically. What's cool about this unit is that on the back is like a heat protector. So you can, theoretically put it closer to your wall or something like that. But it's changeable. You can change this back with a different back that has a water jacket. So you can actually heat water pipes through this if you wanted. If you want to be completely off grid and heat your water this way, you can. So we had contacted a couple of wood stove places again to see, if the firebox is perfectly intact and the top of this is just bent a little bit, is it usable? Is it safe? And they reassured us everything was good to go. And if we wanted for the look, we could pay $200 to have a new back sent to us. And we just figured it's fine. We're not going to pay it. It's the back. Who cares? And we scratched the thing up really bad anyway when we were bringing it in because it's like 400 pounds. We got this for free, and it's like, I feel bad saying that because this is so expensive, and nothing to me compares to this. I was not satisfied unless we were getting this model because I knew I was always going to compare any other wood stove to this wood stove. And I didn't feel like anything was ever going to be good enough. So I'm really glad that we ended up going with this. And we just got really fortunate that it ended up working out. We didn't pay anything for it and we got it for free. We ended up going with this style wood stove because firstly, my husband really wanted to make sure that we had a wood stove that would heat the home. And I really wanted to make sure that we had a cook stove because I knew that we didn't have space to put a electric stove in or anything, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do an off-grid option for us to cook. So this just seemed like the best option. It looks like a wood stove, functions completely just like a regular wood stove, but also you have the benefit to cook on it and bake in it. This was not the type of model I was initially looking for when we were moving here. I was looking for like a Pioneer Princess, or I think like a Baker's Choice is what the other ones names are, but those units are huge. Like, they stand so tall, they're very, very wide, and that's just too big for us in a small cabin with a lot of people in this cabin. We have, I live here with my husband and 4 kids, and our dogs stay inside in the wintertime. So, it's packed. So this is just like so compact, small, you know, and it does the job. It does exactly what we need it to do. And it really, I'm telling you, it pulled through for us in this ice storm. It was cold. It was extremely cold, and we were fine, and we did not have power for so long. So I'm really thankful for this unit. I think it's amazing. I love it. People love coming to my house and using it and cooking on it and baking in it. We just had Christmas, and my brother-in-law was here, and he was doing all the things on it. It was awesome. So it's fun, and it's just so practical, and it's beautiful. It looks amazing, works amazing, and I would really truly recommend something like this. If you have any further questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.